Hi everyone, I hope you're all okay in this funny old world that we're all living in at the moment. I've got 5 more grants that I want to share with you today for businesses and charities. They're listed on the FCS Associates website, so we'll go there straight away and I can talk you through the various options that you might like to consider. First, here we go to grants, scroll down to new grants, and everything I talk about you will find listed on here. We are updating it all the time, so do keep checking back. First is the Finnis Scott Foundation and their Art and Horticulture Fund. I've highlighted this because I've not come across the funder before, and they have a funding scheme where they will offer up to £10,000 and they meet quarterly. So their next panel is in January. So I'd recommend getting an application into them if you fall into the fine art, art history or horticultural space. So maybe put in an application before the end of the year. What I wanted to do as well is just share with you their application form, because it's a really short and simple one to complete. I've highlighted here that they will fund both capital and revenue projects. There's a little bit more here about the different strands that they will support, the different areas of interest. Then if you just scroll down to part 2, the aims and objectives of your charity, it's a fairly standard question in grant funding application form, so that is there, but only at 300 words. And secondly, the project description of what it is you want funding is there, and only 500 words are required for that. It does say you can attach other information if you want to, but the rest of the form really is quite simple and straightforward to complete. So if you're interested, I would recommend getting an application into them certainly before the end of the year and that next panel meeting. Okay, it's back to the website for the next one. This is an Innovate UK fund. Now, this is the development of the digital security by design software opportunity. So this is for businesses, and it's looking for SMEs to apply for between £40,000 and £80,000. And if you are exploring and investigating the requirements, dependencies, range of potential complexities associated here with the adoption of the digital security by design technology space, then this is something for you to consider. So technology SMEs who are looking to grow, to enable growth of the software ecosystem area is what this fund is focusing on. As I say here, it's an Innovate UK one. You'll find much more technical and detailed information in their scope. So have a look at that one. And you've got until the 13th of January to apply for that one. Okay. Next is from a funder that many of you will be familiar with, the Masonic Charitable Fund. Now, this is their Children and Young People grant, and it's aimed at national and local charities who help disadvantaged children and young people overcome various barriers they may face. The three that they've got a number of areas that they're interested in funding. I've highlighted them here. So if you're a charity offering mental and physical health support, learning and development, or family support, or pastoral and advocacy support, then this is one you might like to consider. Now, you can apply for either a small or large grant. The small grants are up to £15,000, and the next deadline is the 23rd of December. If you want to apply for a grant that is between £10,000 and up to around £60,000, then you have a little more time, as first stage apps aren't needed to be in until the 31st of March next year. Okay. So now on to National Lottery Heritage Grants for Heritage. This is a new fund that's been released, and it's called the Resilience and Inclusion Project Fund. So this is there solely to support organisations who are working with heritage. So it's helping you to adapt and respond to the very fast changing environment that you're now operating in. You can apply for the very broad range of funding that you'll often find with these large schemes. It goes from £3,000 up to £100,000. So I'm just going to take you to their website, because there's two strands. They're quite separate. So you might want to consider one of these. The first is here: supporting organisations with heritage to adapt and recover in the continuing coronavirus crisis. So this is here to support you review existing business models and plans, develop new approaches to opening to the public. For example, how you might manage logistically and physically social distancing, developing new and creative, more resilient ways of working within your organisation, and also ensuring that you are ready and equipped to engage with a wider range of people with heritage as we go forward. The second strand here focuses more on inclusion as opposed to the resilience of your organisation. So if you are led by, are engaging engaging diverse groups, typically underrepresented in the heritage space, then this might be something for you to consider. So if you're run by or are targeting, trying to encourage underrepresented young people, minority ethnic, LGBT plus communities, disabled people, or those from lower socio-economic backgrounds, then this might be the strand that might fit your organisation a bit better. Okay, it's a rolling programme, so there's no major hurry to make an application for this one. Because they'll have another phase, and I think it says down here that will open in February next year. Okay. Next is the Key Fund. This is the Sheffield City Region Investing for Growth Fund, and it aims to increase the number of social enterprises in the local enterprise partnership area if you're ready for growth and you need to access finance and support. It's been running quite a while, this scheme, but that they've had quite a lot of success, and it's quite easy to access. You can apply for between £5,000 and £25,000, and again, it's a rolling programme. So if you fall into any of these areas within Sheffield City Region and your activities there, then this is definitely one for you to consider. They do offer a package of one-to-one support, and this can take the shape and form of either a business plan review, feedback, or financial model analysis, or indeed signing up to workshops and masterclasses. So it's a sort of learning development support there. The third option here is growth grants, which I'm sure a lot of you may well be interested in, and this is purely for capital expenditure support. I'm also just going to share with you here their application form. There's 5 pages. It's worth putting aside some time to really focus and concentrate on this. It's got the very usual standard questions, and it's obviously an online form, but I'm scrolling down here because there's a section called organisation rating that you may not have come across before in a grant application form. It asks you a series of questions, and it wants you to rate your organisation on, as it says here, a scale of 1 to 5 on each of the following areas, and provide a description of why you've scored yourself as that. So this relates to financial management and reporting, marketing, sales, your operational management, governance and oversight. So I just thought that was worth sharing with you, because that can sometimes take a little bit more time to get yourselves organised, so ensure that you're ready before you start applying for that fund. So they're the 5 I wanted to share with you today. And as ever, if any of you require a bit of clarity or advice on any of the government business or charity funding schemes that have been launched, then don't hesitate to get in touch with us at FCS. You can give us a call, drop us an email, and we can just maybe talk you through some of the various different options that might be available to you that you could apply for, because it's rather hard to navigate at the moment, I think, for a lot of us. So if we can offer anyone any support, don't hesitate. So that's all for now. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. So stay well, everyone, and I'll see you soon.